Peace. Peace, family. How you doing? It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency. If you can hear me, let me know because I've been trying to tweak my mic this morning. Then I went to, a little meditation thing, something like that. But anyway, welcome back. So what are we talking about today? We're still in on being an intentional learner. And we were talking about the 8 misconceptions. Good morning to those who are watching. We're going into the 8 misconceptions, and we're really breaking down the growth gap traps. And the first one that we were talking about yesterday was the assumption gap. Being on the right side of assume. Which side of assume are you on? Are you on the side of the I think, I wish, and I hope it will happen, or are you on the side of assume when you assume responsibility? And that's where we were yesterday. So today we're talking about the number 2 of the 8 misconception of growth. And we're on the knowledge gap, the I don't know how to grow. So my question to you that's proposed right now, do you feel that you have grown in 2021? That's the question of today. Do you feel you have grown in 2021? If so, how? So put down in the comments, how do you feel you have grown in 2021? You don't have to write this big, long, paragraph or this whole, section. Just write something. How have you grown? Do you feel you've grown in 2021 and how? Because sometimes writing it out, it allows you to see, okay, yeah, I've accomplished that. I did that. Because the things that you have accomplished in 2021 really becomes how you begin to close the knowledge gap in your growth process, because there are some things that you have learned during this timeline that will make it a lot stronger and a lot better for you as you continue to go and to grow in your path. So let's go into breaking this down a little bit. So it says many people learn only from school of hard knocks. Difficult experiences teach them lessons, sometimes the hard way. Whether it's lessons being learned the hard way that have improved because of the past experiences that they had or a past experience that you had, or it can actually give you an experience that actually turns out bad. You know what I'm saying? It turns out bad. So it didn't work out well with that experience that you've had during that time. So it wasn't beneficial for you. But let's talk about the beneficial side of closing the knowledge gap. So I don't know is no longer an option. Not to me. I think knowledge is so within reach right now that we can begin to close the knowledge gap of what you don't know and what you do know. So you can close that gap because there's so many people that have already done it. There's so much information that's out there that you can begin to figure out how to do certain things. And you can also begin to figure out how do you grow as a person intentionally. Not grow by mistake, but grow intentionally because you've set out specific standards that you want to do, and you put out those performance measures that actually let you know that you have grown and that you are growing. So possessing the option of I don't know, let's begin to dive into that and to begin to shred that apart, because you can know if you really want to know. You can grow if you really want to grow. Again, you have to begin to transition into that intentional learner. When you become that intentional learner, you are learning with purpose. You are learning with direction. Like someone say, oh, I want to start a business. Okay, what do you know about business? What do you know about social media? What do you know about small business accounting? You have to get your head in those books and begin to learn. You see how that works? Intentionally. So when you're intentionally learning, you're intentionally growing on purpose, not by mistake, not by happenstance, but actually being intentional about what you're learning, how you're learning, when you're learning, and what you learn. That's the process of closing the knowledge gap. Don't look at somebody else and say, well, how do they know that? But I wasn't taught this in school. So what? There's so many things that you were not taught in school that you're learning in the real world, or you're learning for yourself, or you're teaching yourself. Don't fall victim to saying they know something and you don't know. Find out. Figure out what did they learn, or figure out what you don't learn. I mean, what you don't know. I don't know what don't learn is. Find out what you don't know. And then go after the information that's going to close that knowledge gap for you. And I guarantee you, you will begin the process of growth, interpersonal growth, personal growth, and business growth, when you actually intentionally learn what you know you need to learn in order for you to grow. Planting those proper seeds is going to allow that growth spurt to even begin to take place. Also, one of the things is you can decide where you need to grow. If you decide that you need to grow in, I don't know, I want to learn how to be a gardener. I want to learn more about agriculture. So you begin to learn more about agriculture. Or if you want to plant flowers, roses, and all this other stuff, so you need to go and study that specific thing. Because remember, you can and you decide where you want to grow. It's no one else's responsibility about where you want to grow. I want to learn more about how do I heal. So I need to study what are some steps in healing. But I also need to know that healing is my responsibility, not no one else's. So you can study how to do it, but then the activity and the action part of it then becomes yours. Then becomes your personal responsibility. Kind of like what we spoke about yesterday. Then you must assume the responsibility because now you have been taught. That's how that really works. Because when you are taught something or when you learn something, the responsibility is now on you. It's just if I taught you how to do small business accounting. So if I teach you how to do small business accounting, then your profit and loss statements should be a lot better than what it was before you lived in the land of the knowledge gap. Before you did not know, and I taught you something about profit and loss. Now the responsibility is yours. Not that I need to come back and keep looking at your books and stuff like that. That may be a nicety, but the responsibility was given to you. Now what you do with that responsibility is how you grow. Assume responsibility. Again, that's from yesterday. The assumption gap. Closing the assumption gap. By knowing where and what you want and how you want to grow, you close that assumption gap. Now you go into the knowledge gap. Knowing what you want to know, knowing where you want to grow, and knowing where you want to go. And there's two things that we're all born with. Well, there's more than two things that we're all born with, but I'm going to hit it on this. So we're all equally born with the opportunity to make a choice and to choose. All of us is born with that. Every day we wake up, we are equally born with the opportunity to make choices and to choose. So you can't say, how come you were able to do that? That is because I made a choice. That is because that person made a choice. But what you choose to do with the information that you're given is ultimately up to you. You turn that corner and blast your head against the wall is because the second time you do it, you consciously made a decision to say it's okay to blast my head up against the wall, because you should have known if I turn that corner, the last time I turned that corner, I hit my head up against the wall. So now I'm be like, you know what? I don't feel like hitting my head up against this wall. So I'm going to actively make a choice today that bumping my head is no longer an option. I am going to learn from my first mistake, from these first 3 knowledge knots on my head. I'm going to learn that I don't want to feel that way no more. Is feeling bad good enough for you to not want to feel bad anymore? That's crazy, right? Is feeling bad good enough for you not to want to feel bad anymore? Is not knowing enough knowledge for you to want to know more about what you need to learn, on what you need to do and what you need to learn in your growth pattern, in your growth spurt. Now, those are two weird ways of twisting it, but looking at it from an honest perspective, it is true. Have you been doing bad for so long that doing bad is no longer an option, but you want to do good? You have to see that. You have to look at it from a personal perspective, and I guarantee you there will be the beginning of a new growth spurt. There will be the beginning of something new happening inside of you. Why? Because you can identify with it. And once you identify with it, then the responsibility is yours and what you do with it. And and I wrote this down. I was writing some other things down, and what hit me was discipline is a self-administered pill. I'm gonna let you marinate on that one for a little bit. Discipline is a self-administered pill. Now, that's crazy. Discipline is a self-administered pill because it's up to you. If you say you want to lose weight, you're going to have to swallow that pill to say, you know what? These are the things that I'm not going to do because I know that I have a goal at the end of this dietary plan. Or I want to start my business before 1 December. Swallow that pill because there's things that you need to do in order for you to get to that point. And I'll say that again. Discipline is a self-administered pill. Someone can tell you about discipline. Someone can even teach you how to spell discipline. Someone can do a shirt and put discipline on it and give you that shirt. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to transition and become disciplined all of a sudden, because you're not. It's a self-administered pill. You're going to have to swallow that, swallow your pride, and say, you know what? I need to be more disciplined. I need to be more disciplined in my daily regimen because I already know what I want to do, but I just haven't done it. So you're going to need to swallow that discipline pill and self-administer that, looking at it from your own personal perspective to say, you know what? I am not where I should be. Why? Because I am not disciplined at doing what I know what I know that is required of me to do. Discipline is a self-administered pill. So this is what I want you to do today. I want you to make a list of the things that you want to grow. I want to grow in my personal life. I want to grow in my spiritual life. I want to grow in what I know about business. I want to grow in whatever it is. That's your question for you to fill out, for you to finish. I want to grow with or in blank. So write that down. I want to grow. I want you to write that list. Make a list. Make a list of the things that you know that you want to grow. And after you write that down, what do you need help that will help you reach that goal? What do you need help in that will help you reach that goal? Because remember, it's your list, not mine, because you got to swallow. You have to administer that own discipline pill that you have to swallow. Not me. I can only keep you accountable. That's what I can do. That's what somebody else can do. But discipline, again, is a self-administered pill. The circle that you surround yourself with can only keep you accountable. That is it. We can't give you discipline. We can't make you discipline. Because once we leave from your own personal physical presence, discipline is then swallowed by you. You're either going to make it better or you're going to make it worse from that self-administered pill. The outside entity can only give you the accountability measures to ensure that you're doing what you say that you're going to do. So write that list. Make a list and how you want to grow, and then write down what do you need to help you reach that goal. After you write down what you need and help you reach that goal, look at it, acknowledge it. Look at it from a real perspective. And after you look at it from a real perspective, write down what it is on that list that you can do today. So I'm gonna ask you right now, what on the list of things that you know that you need to grow, what can you do on that list that you can actually accomplish today? So for those that's out there watching right now on Facebook or YouTube, whichever platform that you're on, those that's going to hear it on the podcast, on Spotify, Anchor, I'm just saying. The things that you know that you have on your list, what on your list that you can actually do today? Put that in the chat. What do you have on your list that you know that you can do today? What do you have on your list that you know that you can start right now? Because a lot of times we make lists and that list just get long, but we don't look at what's on the list that we can actually accomplish today. We don't put ourselves in a perspective of, let me go ahead and start prioritizing this list that I have, or let me go ahead and start knocking out the things that's within my 50-meter target. For those that are prior service know what I'm talking about. What is within my 50-meter target that I can go ahead and accomplish right now so I can begin the process of starting today to accomplish these goals to close this knowledge gap? What can you assume today, going back to what we talked about yesterday? What can we assume today, which is the power of responsibility? What can we assume today that we can begin to accomplish to close the knowledge gap? Because remember, I don't know is no longer an option. There's too much information that's out here that we can go out and reach and grab a hold of and assume that responsibility. It's out here. But what are you doing with it? Only you can answer that question, because again, the only outside opportunity that I can give you, or the only outside opportunity that others that surround you can give you, is accountability. That's it. That's all we can do. Because again, remember, the self-administered pill to you is discipline. I can't give you that. Now, I may be able to give you the pill, but you have to administer that pill for yourself, because it's you at the end of the day. All right, and once you learn how to grow, you will learn that consistency and being consistent at it and being consistent with it is definitely going to put you in a position to create currency. Now, I'm not always talking about money, but it might be the sweet spot for you. It might be the money shot for you. It's like, oh man, that aha moment for you. That consistency can actually create currency. Peace.